What happened next? The reply from King Suro. I knew that you were coming, so I refused all the maidens whom my courtiers recommended as my spouse. Now my heart leaps with joy to receive a most beautiful and virtuous princess as my queen. The king passed 2 nights and 1 day with the princess from India. When it was time for her escort to return home, he gave each person 30 rolls of hemp cloth and 10 large bags of rice to sustain them on their voyage. On the first day of the 8th month, the king and his queen entered the royal palace in colorful palanquins, accompanied by courtiers in carriages and on horseback, and followed by a long train of wagons laden with the trousseau which the princess had brought with her from India. She was escorted into the inner palace, and the two courtiers and their wives who had accompanied her from India were accommodated in separate apartments. The rest of her suite were given a guest house of 20 rooms and given food and drink, and her household articles and precious jewels were put in a storeroom for her use at all times. The marriage of the king and queen was like the combination of two harmonious beings, heaven and earth, sun and moon, yang and yin. She was a faithful and true helpmeet to the king, shining like a ruby or a sapphire, and indeed she was an Indian jewel and rendered valuable service in the raise of his royal household, like the vassals who assisted the king of Xia and the two daughters of Yao who attended Shun, their royal husband, in ancient China. The royal couple lived happily for many years. In due time, they both dreamed of seeing a bear, and sure enough, the queen conceived and bore a son. This was Crown Prince Godang. On the 1st of March, in the 6th year of Chung Ping, in the reign of Ling Ti, the year of the snake, Kisa, the queen, died at the age of 157. The people mourned as if they had lost their own mothers and buried her on a hill northeast of Kuji. They changed the name of the beach where she first landed on Chupochon, that of the hill on which she changed her brocade skirt to Nunhyon, and that of the sea coast where she waved her red flag at the shore to Kich Alpion, so that her arrival in Karak should always be remembered. Simpo and Chokwang, who attended the queen on her voyage from India, each begat daughters about 30 years after their arrival, and both died a few years later. The queen's male and female slaves all died of homesickness within 7 or 8 years of their arrival and left no children, so that their guest hall was vacant. The king spent many lonely hours in deep grief after the death of the queen, and at last he also died 10 years later at the age of 158 on the 23rd of March in the 4th year of Qianan during the reign of Xianti in the year of the hare Kim Yo. The people wailed as if heaven had fallen and buried him in a mausoleum 10 feet high and 300 feet in circumference to the northeast of the palace. A shrine was erected and sacrifices were offered annually on the 3rd and the 7th of January, the 5th of May, and the 15th of August to the spirits of King Suro and his royal descendants for 9 generations. This is presented from Ilyon's Chinese Samguk Yuza. Here is the English translation of Legends and History of the Three Kingdoms of Ancient Korea by Ha Tie Hong and Grifton K. Mintz.